everyone. First of all, I would like to say a very, very happy and 10-year anniversary. So, to everybody in the Global Youth Biodiversity Network, to all our members, our friends, our families, and to all the amazing youth who have been involved and engaged with us through this 10-year journey and adventure. It's a very exciting day for us to actually tell you guys that we've been together and we have made it to our 10th anniversary as a network and as a community. So happy anniversary to all of us. And I hope we're going to have an amazing anniversary journey for the next few months or a year, celebrating all the amazing things we have done as the GYBN community and, just celebrating us. So that's, I think, the main aim here for our amazing celebration. So for this episode series, we plan to do like an episode series for the 10-year anniversary, where we'll be speaking to like the key GYBN people. We're going to be talking to you on how GYBN evolved and how we transformed from a network into a community which is more than that. And all the activities we are doing, the actions that we are doing on the ground and everywhere else. And we wanted to also use this as a way to like unite during the pandemic and show you that how we hope for a future with GYBN and how we want to achieve this future with all of you. So this episode series that I was talking to you about is a part of the GYBN's 10-year anniversary initiative. And in this initiative, we have a lot of exciting things planned. We have planned an online exhibition. Excuse me. We've planned some exciting videos, some fun contests and competitions with everybody. And we've also planned a lot of beautiful sessions where we can hear from all our amazing members and chapters. So definitely stay tuned for these episodes, which are going to be launched every end of every month on 27th. And since 27th is the day, 27th of August was the day the idea of GYBN was thought about. We want to use this day as a day we're going to have a celebratory episode launched every month. So definitely stay tuned for these amazing episodes. So before I introduce you guys to this episode, I want to first introduce you guys to the amazing people who were there from the beginning of GYBN. And this episode, as we know, is called An Elephant Was Conceived. So we're going to tell you more about who the elephant is and what was conceived in a few minutes. So before I get started, I would like to introduce you guys to all the amazing people who have helped create GYBN. Excuse me. So the first person we have is Christian Swatzer. Christian Swatzer, would you like to join us? Thank you for joining us. Hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sweta.
Hi. The next person we have is Melina Satyava.
Hi, Sweta. Hi, guys.
It's amazing to have all of you here for this first episode where we're going to be celebrating the anniversary of GYBN. And the next person we have is Mirna Fernandez.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sweta.
And the last person we have, who's been our guardian for the last 10 years and who's been everything for us in so many ways, Chantal Robichaud. Hello. It's great to have all of you here. Thank you so much for being a part of this amazing journey and this first talk show. And this first episode is all about understanding how did this happen? How did this idea of GYBN come into being? Like for people like us who joined this journey a little later, we were very curious to know, who thought about it and how did you guys go into this whole experience? And the reason we call this the elephant is something we're going to tell you at the end of this episode. So you have to stay tuned for the whole episode to know why it is called The Elephant Was Conceived. Okay. So definitely stay on for the next 20 minutes so that you get to hear about this. So now we want to know 10 years of history of being together. That's a lot. And that's an amazing journey. And our question to all of you from the GYBN community is, how did it all begin? How did you meet at Nagoya in 2010? do you guys remember things about it? Do you remember each other from them? Maybe like tell us your first impressions of each other. And maybe Mirna, you could go first.
Well, 10 years ago is something that I don't remember that much, but one clear memory that I have is the first time I saw Christian. because, because I do remember that we were in this youth conference and it was very intense, like we had a lot of work. And I remember that at the lunch break, like we finally have the lunch break, and I see this guy coming with the computer and opening the computer during the lunch break to work. And I am from Latin America. Like it is not that there's not hard-working people in Latin America, but having somebody like working on the computer on the lunch break is not very common. So my first impression was that, oh man, this guy is very hardworking.
Maybe I was just watching a movie on my computer.
No, you're not watching a movie. I also remember like the first time I saw Christian, and it was exactly like that. Because you imagine, like he's German, and I mean, it's not about stereotypes, I get it. But then you see this very tiny German, coming with this big, huge, deep voice, like, and then if you hear Christian talking, he has so much knowledge, and then like he's like all into the process of the CBD. So like we were there and we didn't even know so much about the CBD. I mean, I know I didn't. And then like comes this guy, this tiny guy, like really like, commanding everybody's attention and saying how things should be run and how we should do things. And then like citing decisions and saying all this kind of like really difficult things. And I'm like, how old are you? Yeah, I guess everybody has a very like kind of like interesting first impression of Christian.
Like I don't remember that was the computer, to be honest. I remember how I was talking about trains with people during lunch breaks.
Trains already.
And I remember when I met Melina, like one of the tasks that we had during this conference was that they wanted us to prepare a declaration about biodiversity and for COP10. And I had been to like another European biodiversity conference before, UPAC. And so I wrote the declaration. So I had like my computer with me, with all the references, with all the text I wanted to get in. It was all like the CBD documents. And then I remember there was Melina, and Melina was like, and I was like, all right. And I think we were supposed to like work together on something. And I was like, I don't know, maybe they thought I'm German and we always like write the checks when we don't know what to do. So they made me write the part about resource mobilization. So I had like my reference here, my reference there. And then like we had a huge discussion, including with Melina, about whether we should put like a submission to halt the loss of biodiversity. And I remember Melina was like discussing about it from a biological point of view. And I was like looking at it politically. No, the European Union has it already. We cannot be less ambitious than the EU. And then I remember they made us work like the whole night on this damn declaration. And I was done at some point because I basically had the text and I just wanted to lobby for it and get it in. And Melina was like, kind of like procrastinating the whole time. And I remember I finished like 3 or 4 a.m. in the night and Melina was still there. It was very funny. And with Myrna, I remember we got talking because at that point you were working on one of the projects that I was reading about in the news in Germany. It was like this highway project where they were building
Oh, the
highways.
Madidi project, yes.
Right? And there was this girl coming from the region. And like, oh my God, you're real. This is really happening. That's what I remember.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's really amazing memories. I unfortunately, I was not at the International Youth Conference because at the time I was not youth focal point. I had started working in the CBD at the previous COP and I was not working on these issues. But I remember that my supervisor, Neil, he called a meeting with Christian and Melina and maybe others, maybe maybe Japanese youth who were at the International Youth Conference. And I don't know if I'm projecting, but I think there were many pairs of round eyes around the table because we were talking about designing a youth entity. And I was like, or creating a youth entity, and I was like, I could not imagine what it meant. Like I could not imagine what it would become. But there seemed to be some clear vision and clear ideas coming out of you guys, and so I was very impressed. I was very impressed at the time that you knew what it could look like, and maybe how to go about it. But I also remember that there were a few silent moments where we were like, thinking, what will that look like? But thank God you seized the momentum and at the time, and it was very visionary of you to do that.
I remember that meeting so well. Like it was actually like people from multiple different groups, and one group wanted to create a youth focal point, and we were like, what do they even mean with a youth focal point? And then there was me and my friend Willem from Belgium, and we want to create a youth constituency. We want to do something like Yango, and then the other group was like, well, what do you mean actually? And like we also didn't have a clue, but somehow like we kept it going from there.
So I'm going to share some photos with you guys.
Oh no! Oh, thank for at least I'm smiling. That's really funny.
When was this photo taken, Chantal?
Oh my God, I don't remember. I remember that I was projected onto this project, the Green Wave, and it was there was a lot of action around it. There was a lot of activities going on. And my executive secretary at the time, Ahmed Jobaf, was very much supportive of that initiative. And so I learned on the spot, I think, about the Green Wave. And I think here we were asking people to sign little cards that were going to be given to delegates.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, encouraging action for biodiversity.
Oh, that's nice. So before Christian goes in and tells us more about like the story of exactly how he thought about GYBN, I thought it'll be nice to see some quick slide pictures from them. So guys, if you remember any of these pictures or what was happening during them, just like tell us, okay?
Oh my gosh, it's just countless sessions of like discussions with like more than 150 people, I guess, like all together.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow, Christian, you look even like younger. Like oh my god.
When was this?
Oh, this was exactly on the 27th of August. So there was like a big auditorium at the end of the conference, and they wanted us to present like the outcomes. And this is us standing there, and we had like pre-prepared statements of what we want to do. And this is actually exactly the moment when like you can see Melina and me there when we would be going to the podium to explain that we're planning to launch this global network.
Wow. I think these are some of the other ones. So this is the youth conference.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this in the front is like Ahmed Shoglaf, which was the executive secretary of the CBD at that time. And he was actually always very supportive of us. Like,
yeah, he was very nice.
Oh, and then this other guy sitting. Sorry, Shweta.
Let me.
Mr. Okada.
Yep.
Yes. So he is the chairman of the EO Foundation, Shweta. So EO Foundation supported the International Youth Forum for Biodiversity, so the birth.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when you spoke, right? During 27th of August.
But don't ask me what I said. No, like my memory is really bad. Like I'm a Dory. So
I have a video of that, Melina. I can. Yeah.
We're gonna share that video with everybody if the people demand for it, okay? And Christian speaking, I guess. What were you guys looking at here?
I think this is in the morning. So we had like this night session to prepare that declaration. Mm-hmm. And I remember, so I went to bed like 4 a.m. Melina, I don't even know if she went to bed. And Mona, I also have no idea if you ever slept. And then I remember like they woke us up in the morning at like 9 o'clock after like a few hours of sleep. This is the declaration of the youth conference that we're reviewing.
Okay. Some more nice photos.
Oh, God. Really?
Nice session. Nice session. And that's when it started the culture of not sleeping within like given meetings, you know, and like
right?
working.
And it never stopped.
Yes. We can blame it on the Japanese with their like workaholic culture.
They because they were there when you guys, the idea of Gibbon was conceived, so the culture stayed on. Nice. I'm just like, ooh, you had yummy food too there, I guess.
Oh yes. Yes. It's Japan, guys. If you want to eat like yummy food, just go to Japan. It's
The
awesome.
other thing about Gibbon,
Now you know why we wanted to do the Global Youth Biodiversity Summit in Japan.
it's always a thing with Gibbon, like because of the founder, few of them being, I'm not going to say names, but few of them are big foodies. So it's always like Gibbon always has like a food culture revolving with it. With the diversity of food having to be tried in every place you go to. So, and you can see some of the foodies in this photo actually enjoying food as well. Yeah, more food photos. So nice. You guys also had a lot of field trips, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was a super packed program. I think it was more than 7 days of program, and it was like it's Japanese scheduling style, you know, like no breaks for more than 15 minutes, you know, and all sorts of cultural
Min, I
programs. So I
found
think
you.
it was really, really nice. Yeah. Yes.
A baby from Colombia. Oh, that was
Oh
so
my
nice.
god.
And you can see that the pictures, there's always food.
Oh my god. I feel like we get so
Oh my,
old.
please don't sue me.
You can call it biodiversity.
Yes.
That's amazing. That was a really nice, fun way to go down memory lane with all of you. So now let's go towards the story. So Krishan, I know it's been 10 years, and I know before the 10 years even happened, you did go to many youth conferences. So why was it that you decided that you would actually want to create Gibbon in Nagoya? What changed in Nagoya for you to think about, okay, here is the time I'm going to push for Gibbon?
Okay, I think because that was around the time when my English was not crappy anymore. Like as a non-native speaker, like I started going to international conference like around 2005, 2006. But especially for the first 2 to 3 years, I felt really, really embarrassed because I'm not a native to English, and in my family, nobody speaks English. And you know, the thing is, when you go to these international conferences, you have like all the international youths from the US, Canada, Australia, and they can express themselves so elegantly. And I remember I was sitting at a lot of these conferences and I was just like so freaking frustrated. I just wanted to like, you know, talk to these people. And my first conferences were actually like in the UNFCCC. And there were the people that were just in the process of creating Yango. And then actually you and me, we were in the same conference in Copenhagen. And we didn't
meet each other.
Yeah, right. The three of us were there.
Yeah,
Like it was quite amazing, but we didn't meet because it was like this freaking big conference, and that was like when Yango got established. And on the sidelines, I was like helping a little bit with this, but I was not one of the protagonists. But 2 years before that, in 2008, I participated in COP9 in Bonn, and I liked it. You know, it was like a different atmosphere. It was close to my hometown. I felt like, okay, let's take a look, and it was just interesting. And I was like always interested in this UN world because, like, again, in my family, nobody is working internationally. I like the idea that you go to this conference and there are all these important looking people doing important looking stuff, and I was like thinking, I also want to do important stuff. And I was really like that naive. Like I didn't have any like damn clue what was really going on. But then I was like nagging people, can you explain to me what is this? And I remember I would like go to the table of the German delegate. Hi, I'm Christian. I'm here for the first time. What are you actually doing? And then I would like sit there with like my notebook and like, yeah. And I would like, no, oh, this is interesting. Okay, this is, and what is this? ABS, can you explain that to me? And what is Germany thinking about it? Okay, so okay. And that's kind of like how I got into it. And so biodiversity was always what interested me. I was also part of NAYU, the German Youth Association for the protection of nature, and that really helped. Like I met like a lot of like-minded people, and I had my first experiences with project management.
So, but
And
how
in
did
20
GYBN, like, how did you think, okay, let's create GYBN? How did that change happen?
All right, so the truth is I came to Nagoya and I was really upset because normally when I go to Japan, I try to like stay a bit longer because it's such an amazing country. But in that conference, it wasn't possible. So I said, okay, I have to make the most of this conference at least. And there were a couple of people in the evening sitting together, and they were sharing like how frustrating it is that you go to these conferences, you meet all these amazing people, and then it's over, and then everybody goes back to study, and it's so hard to like combine like voluntary work and studies and all these kind of things. And then I felt, okay, maybe we can create a network like they did in the UNFCCC, and everybody was like, no, it's not really going to work. And then there was another group that Melina was part to. There was a guy from Indonesia, his name was Niwa, that came up with like an idea for a global youth biodiversity organization. And I was like, okay, cool, this is an amazing idea, let's do this. And I think the only thing I did is that I really believed in it. I then managed somehow to get like a scholarship from the German government to go to the COP. That was 2 months later. And I just said, okay, we have to push for it, we have to try it. And I think the only thing that I did differently back then was that my English was not crappy anymore, that I felt confident in myself. I think that's the most important thing, that you feel confident, that you just try something. And then I just kept sending emails, created Google groups, like put people together and started fundraising and all these kind of things. And I had no clue. Like that it's going to ever like become as big as it is now. But I just started doing something, and I was hoping maybe it's useful.
Wow, that's really honest. And I'm glad to hear that there was like, you had that kind of feeling that this is something good, and you just like pushed for it, not knowing how it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
And here we are. So,
but it's really, it's not me. It's like the amazing people that I met. Like there was Melina that had wonderful ideas, Myrna. And I remember when we organized the kickoff meeting 2 years later, actually like the people that wanted to select participants for this conference. So Melina, for instance, was kicked out in the first filtering. And it was like going through the list in the NAU headquarters, we're like, wait, there is somebody missing. There is that girl from Brazil, and we really need to bring her. And there's the other girl from Bolivia. And the one from Bolivia we found easily because Mona was a member of a youth organization of Reacción Climática. And I told them we need to bring people from youth organizations. But Melina was a very good example because she didn't belong to any youth organization.
But I have to say, this is a very European way
Exactly.
of thinking things.
Exactly.
Because you guys have youth associations and youth groups and junior whatever things, like for everything. So it's kind of obvious to be part of a youth organization. And actually, if you're not, it's like weird, right? Like you're like, whoa, you don't belong to anything. Exactly. And actually, like that was I was honest with my application. Obviously, I put that I don't belong to any youth organizations because at that time I was studying in Japan and also in Brazil. I mean, it was not that common 10 years ago to have like youth organizations. You have to be really, I mean, you have to come from a culture that is like this, right? That you associate yourself to groups, and like it was not my case of my family. So, I mean, that's when it all started also, like this change of GYBN and this change of mentality, because I think it's a little bit similar with the climate process, because it is very European driven, I have to say. And it's you guys have a very privileged like world, and like situation, so that you guys can see things and do things and imagine things in a certain way that it doesn't really work for people that are in the other side of the world. And I think when we started like putting GYBN together, and then there were more people coming from the South, and I mean biodiversity is in the South, right? So like that's when I think we started to have like this very true and honest dialogue between North and South, which is frequently represented by me and Christian discussing about things and fighting over things. Exactly, I'm being diplomatic. Yeah.
I think that is the thing which is very different with GYBN. Like we do have very raw conversations with the North and South even within the networking. And that is largely driven by Melina, but it also gives a voice to all the people who are like, yeah, that is right. Like, you know, when you say it, they're like, yeah, this is true. Like, why are we not fighting about it?
Like I remember that Melina, like when I first met her, one of the first topics of conversation was, what do you think about colonization?
Classic Melina.
Yeah, because Christian wanted to say that Germany didn't play a strong role in colonization because they lost the war, so they lost their colonies super early in their process.
I didn't know that. I actually thought Melina had like come up with the evolved this idea of like colonization and why the hatred for it. I thought it came up like later. I didn't know it was like in her like core.
It was bigger.
Sorry, Shanta, you were saying something.
No. I think these debates are what is keeping the group alive. Yeah, it's at the core of it. Yeah.
Going to our next part of our thing, we wanted to hear from people after they were in Nagoya how things moved and how things changed. So I wanted to ask Mirna, as in, you know, how were things for you in Nagoya? What did you do there, and how did things change for you after?
Wow, I remember I didn't sleep a lot, but else like I remember when my English was awful. Like at the time that Christian's English was getting better, like my English was awful. Like my first COP ever was the climate COP in Copenhagen. Like in that COP, I was only on the art space, like painting stuff for the climate march because my English was so bad that after the first 3 days of COPs, I realized that my English was not coping with this, and I was like, okay, I can paint stuff like save the polar bears. So I was really like, I was very, very new to all these things. Like I came in because I was part of the girl guides of WAX. So I was with this group of very nice girls, like saying nice messages, but I didn't understand the complexity of the thing yet. And the same happened with the youth conference. So I went there with a very specific agenda regarding the Madidi National Park and the mega projects of our government in that moment, and why this needed to be protected because it's a biodiversity hotspot and everything. And I had all these ideas. And at the end, it was totally different. Like it was very broad, it was very global. I couldn't put like local fights into the text. So I remember it was a bit frustrating. But yeah, somehow I don't know, like these crazy guys with the ideas of doing a Django for the CBD and everything. That was exciting. And well, I remember I didn't got that engaged with, like, I know that Christian worked like crazily to get the funding for the kickoff meeting and everything, but on the meantime, I was just at home in Bolivia without like even imagining what was going on. Like I was still like on my very local fights and campaigns and stuff. So I was actually very surprised that when I got this message of, hey, you remember we wanted to do this like global youth organization? Well, we're doing it.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I have to say, you know, like sometimes it's difficult to convince Christian to do things because sometimes he has very conservative views, like German views on how things should be, you know, and how things should be run. And so like he doesn't like really like so much like this really crazy kind of ideas, you know, like but once you get him convinced, once he really like believes in it, there's no stopping this guy, like really no stopping this guy. I feel bad sometimes for some of the focal points and some of like the partners, you know, because Christian's gonna be on their head like the whole time.
Nice. But I think like that's something we've been trying to change over the 10 years, where we've changed it from a global fight to the local fights and ensuring that we always keep the local perspective in mind whenever we do anything. And I think, yeah, having Mirna with us from the beginning, Melina for several other things, I think it's helped with like grounding GYBN a lot. So I'm actually happy to hear, you know, how you guys were 10 years back and how that's shaped GYBN even now. So that's a nice story to hear. My next question was to the second last question actually for the talk show is to Melina to know, do you remember when you did that presentation where we just showed that picture of you like standing there? Do you remember what you felt like when you presented this concept of GYBN? It was called GYBO that time, so presented the concept of GYBO, and how did the parties react? You are Christian. Anybody who remembers it?
I mean, like, I remember presenting it twice when, I mean, the audience was just like kind of civilians in a way, like, which it wasn't that big audience, like, at the end of International Youth Conference on Biodiversity. So we know, and I mean, like, we know that it was kind of like just for the public and this kind of things. Like, later on, there was a side event that was organized at COP10 that we were introducing like the idea of creating like an organization for young people. And then like, I mean, it's a side event now that like 10 years ago, we know what a side event really means, you know, like, and it's not that a high level thing. Like in the end, like we managed to give an intervention at the high level segment of the COP itself. Like, but like it was a bit underwhelming because like it was like no audience at all, you know, like there was no people at the plenary. So that was just, and it was like very emblematic in a way. It was like the youth representative, the IPLC representative, and the women representative kind of thing, you know, like in plenary, and no audience. So that's like when it kind of like, whoa, like you start to see the difference in power, you know, and the difference in like influence and the difference in kind of like hierarchies and importance. And that was very like kind of eye-opening for me, at least. And then like it started to kind of like, you know, the cogs in your brain start to shift. And then you start to think, maybe that's where we need to change things, you know, like, so yeah, that's what I felt. At least I don't remember if Christian, you gave other presentations about GYBN like, that were more high level than what I did.
Well, they were certainly not more high level. What I remember is when we did the side event to present the concept for GYBN at the COP in Nagoya, there were almost no people in the room. Like it was pretty empty. It was just youth speaking to youth. And like I think most of the youth were from Canada. Then there was like the group that Melina was part. I was there, and there was very few people from the Global South. And like I was thinking, okay, where's this all gonna go to? And now when we organize the side event in the CBD, the room is full. Like I can't believe it. Like especially when we give something away, like a new edition of CBD in a nutshell, you have everybody coming, and it's like a full house. It's quite amazing. That's what I remember. Like for me, the first thing I did after Nagoya is sorry.
Sorry, no, I was just asking, do you don't remember like any party reacting to this idea when you guys told people that you want to start GYBO? You don't remember like them saying positive or negative about it?
No, it was more like, oh, how cute, you know, like, oh, nice guys, kind of thing, you know.
Like I remember, so at that point, like, so when you go to a meeting like the CBD, there are all the party delegates, and it takes a lot of time to get to know them, and it takes even longer for them to take you serious. So the only person that I knew before was the German CBD focal point, Nicola Breyer, and she was incredible. Like she almost took me by the hand, and she was like the first person that I presented the concept for. I later went to the ministry in Bonn and presented it again and basically asked for money for it. And she was really encouraging, you know, and like back then I had not much experience with that. And having like a government delegate that you kind of look up to, as somebody in like a really high position that encourages you that what you're preparing is not complete bullshit, was very, very helpful. And then there was my organization, NAYU. Like, I mean, they're mostly focusing on German projects. And I came back to them. I like basically ran into a steering committee meeting. Guys, I'm just coming back from Nagoya. It was amazing. It was not like Copenhagen. It was actually successful. We adopted these 20 Aichi targets, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it. You know, we have it written on paper. We're going to halt the loss of biodiversity by 2020. This is big. This is not like Copenhagen. And I really, really believed in that. And like the steering steering committee was kind of probably sitting there. When is this guy going to shut up? When is he going to shut up? Then we have other things to do here. Like, you know, we need to like organize our German camp projects, all these other things that our constituents are caring about. And then kind of to like, I think they liked it, they believed in it, they shared it, and then they said, okay, we can do a project proposal. And then the first time in 2011, it didn't work. And then in 2012, there was one project proposal that I remember was rejected for a national project. And because it was rejected, they had to go back to another project. And then they came to me, you had this idea, it's this global youth biodiversity network thing. Are you still doing this? Yes, I'm spending my whole damn time organizing Skype calls with all these people. I'm trying to keep the group together. Can we please apply for funding? Yeah, okay, we could do that.
Wow, persistence can really pay off in different ways.
Yeah, no,
Indeed.
definitely. This is a work of persistence, guys, and like patience. Oh my gosh, like I mean, and like not be disencouraged by like, you know, people that are not taking it serious. And like, I mean, this is a good thing about Christian too, you know, because like sometimes I feel very hurt if I'm not taking serious. I guess it's the fact that I am a woman, so we have to deal a lot with this kind of thing. Like if you're a woman, like frequently people don't listen to you or think whatever, but I guess like, you know, Christian doesn't care, you know, like, so this is amazing. So he just says things, and even if the whole room is like looking like, what are you talking about? He still believes in what he's saying, so he still keeps pushing it. And I think this has a lot to do with how GYBN became what it is today, you know, like this, like kind of like innocence, but persistence at the same time is quite interesting.
Nice.
But I think it also had a lot to do like with the structures that were available to me. Like I was lucky that I came from a country where the government was interested in biodiversity policy, where the ministry was actively supporting civil society. I was part of a youth organization that had a globally unique structure, and they were willing to like use the structure to help us. So I think it's really a big question of privilege. And like I actually started this because I was thinking they're going to be more NAYUs all around the world. We just have to like try to find them and activate them. And later I found out, no, this is not how it works. And this is really this north-south difference that I also had to realize for myself. And now, thanks to the chapters, we're trying to create like these platforms for young people to get active.
Yeah, amazing. So this kind of brings us to the last question of our talk show. It's been amazing, and you guys are really fantastic guests for this talk show, the first talk show we've had. A lot of good gossip you've given us, so it'll go on for like maybe another month, and then we need more. So our question is actually, the last question is like to one of our dearest friends and our guardians, Chantal. We really want to know, like, you've been our guardian for 10 years, and I don't say this lightly, like you have been our rock in so many ways. And I don't know if we would be where we are, and we would be as big as we are with like now 1 million people a part of GYBN, if it wasn't for you. So we want to know what made you really invest this time with us? And like in the beginning, how did you think about it? And what made you think like, okay, I should be with them? Because you've not just been like our, you know, the point of contact in the CBD for us. You've been literally like a supporting guardian, helping us as well. And like I remember still like the first time I was in SAPSA, you actually taught us what, no, you have an L document, and then you have like the COP document. So you actually have these other documents, and then you're like, oh, so we have to include it here, and only then it goes down. And then I still remember like those kind of advices and teachings you gave us. So tell us something about what made you invest so much time with us.
Oh, it's too kind. It's too kind. I think you would be there. You would be there without me because of your persistence altogether. Yes, but yeah, and it's good of you to call me guardian of youth. I hope youth can be my guardian too. But really, when working with stakeholders, I see youth as one of the stakeholders that have a life of its own, and they're really autonomous, and they don't need guardians. They are their own guardians. And if I can bring back the elephant, I think by giving the birth to so many baby elephants and seeing them grow as adults, you have your old guard standing for you by now. Yeah, I remember in 2010, there was a lot of action activities, as Christian was saying. Everybody wanted to do something for the International Year on Biodiversity. They wanted to do something for COP, and for of course, the adoption of the strategic plan was a huge thing. And the Decade on Biodiversity was launched also at the time. So everybody, I mean, all stakeholders, cities and subnational governments, businesses, everybody wanted to do something. And there was a lot of children and youth initiatives also happening. And at the Secretariat, we were kind of, I wouldn't say overwhelmed, but we were very busy, trying to make the most of this. And other stakeholder groups were starting to organize in networks. And so when the idea of GYBN came up, it was kind of yes, this is what we need, a channel, to get to all of these youth initiatives and organizations that want to do something, because we cannot help each and every one of them, especially at the national level. So that's one of the big reasons, I think, why Mr. Joglaf was very, very supportive, obviously because of the energy and enthusiasm, and I don't know what kind of discussions took place at that level, but for me, it was obvious that it was going to be a big part of my portfolio in the future. And it did, and I'm very happy about that because this is really keeping me fully energized and refreshed, and there's so many good things coming out of the youth voices coming into the CBD process, this energy and this novelty. But also I think what was quite determinant over the years is maybe a little bit later when GYBN started working on implementation, and that was very important for us, because parties maybe at first they thought, oh, these are cute little initiatives and and okay, they're in the room, but don't talk too much. But then over the years, when they started to realize that the youth network could actually help them in implementing their commitments for biodiversity, then they became themselves direct supporters and partners of GYBN. And for us, that was gold, because if parties are supporting GYBN, it means that we can, because it's supporting the implementation of the objectives of the convention, it's supporting our parties, and that's what we work for. So I think it was a turning point. That's when it became very obvious that yes, we can invest time and energy into this. So and also the fact that parties were supportive and started, the donors started to get more and more interested. So that made it quite simple, in fact, because GYBN stands for itself. They don't need extra help. It's the reputation of it and the credibility of it that makes it so popular, let's say. So again, this was all possible because you guys put your hearts into it. I just want to congratulate you again for doing this. The elephant that you've created is not just an elephant. This giant elephant. It's bigger than an elephant, and it keeps on procreating and it keeps on nurturing ecosystems all around. It's really just not about youth. It's really going beyond now, and this energy and this optimism that it radiates from it, it really helps create the culture that we need towards 2050. And luckily, elephants live long, so I'm sure you'll be able to keep it alive, and I'm sure there will be a lot of people supporting the beast until 2050, and I hope beyond even. So I'm very happy to have been part of this long journey and to continue on it. And I just want to wish you a super happy anniversary and a big congratulations for persisting and insisting and being who you are.
Thank you so much, Chantal. On behalf of the entire Global Biodiversity Network, I should say, thank you for investing so much time, and we're really grateful for all the support you've given us. And like, this is a beautiful journey for us, and yeah, and having you as a part of it has made it like everything it's supposed to be and can be. So yeah, I'm so happy that I was a part of it. Not maybe not in Nagoya, but later on, the fact that I could join in, I'm really happy that I was with all of you guys, being, you know, through this amazing experience of friendship in a way, and like shaping a community of like love and like, you know, that persistence. And then it's more about like something for the future, but doing it with positive spirits and doing it together. So as you said, I really hope GYBN and its babies stay on till 2050 and beyond. And hopefully that time it's going to be more about like, okay, now that we have been able to change the behavior and like transform things, how do we maintain this transformation? I hope it goes to that. And we are working tirelessly to ensure this transformation. So let's see how it works. So, and thank you for Christian, Melina, and Mirna, and Shanta for painting this beautiful picture for all of us about how GYBN was created 10 years ago. And we really enjoyed it. And let's thank everybody who's been watching us live on Facebook. This first episode of this talk show has been with like the key people behind us, like the foundation of GYBN. And yeah, and I would definitely encourage all of you to stay tuned as Chantal has beautifully bought in the elephant that was supposed to be revealed at the end of the show. So GYBN is kind of the elephant, because it took us 22 months to be born, which is the next episode. So about how we were born. And this was like when the idea was conceived. So that's why we are an elephant. And sadly, there is no other animal which has a longer pregnancy in a way than an elephant. So we had to go with the elephant. We would have liked to have the fungus because you're more biodiversity people, but we don't have such options anymore. So definitely stay tuned for our next episode on 27th of September. We will be talking to you more about the kickoff of GYBN and how Christian had more persistence and how he pulled it off single-handedly. So we could maybe call this the one-man army show or something. The next episode could be called that. And how things happened till COP and what happened during Hyderabad, which was the next COP after Nagoya. So definitely for that. Yeah. So
Xiaomi is just saying, Shweta, Xiaomi is just saying that GYBN Colombia is gonna have their anniversary in 2 days.
Congratulations!
Happy birthday to our GYBN baby!
Oh wow!
Yes.
That's nice. So I hope GYBN Colombia can also give us some key insights into how they were created. That's also, every chapter has an amazing story about how they're created.
Oh yes, that would be great to hear.
It's really nice to hear all of them. But these episodes, we're going to be putting them live on Facebook, but at the same time, we're going to try to have them on YouTube. So definitely feel free to share this episode with people, see it, share it with your friends and family too, and definitely see us next time. Next month, so that you can hear more about this journey. And some of these episodes are going to be a lot more about not just GYBN, but also all the amazing people who have made GYBN, our chapters, and also some fun contests, which is going to be with everybody who's on Facebook with us. So we would like all of you guys to interact with us and actually engage in this celebration, because it's for us at the end. So we wanted to be that thing. Yeah.
Just one final message. I just wanted to share with you guys. Thank you so much for all the messages regarding the Midori Prize. Like, you know, like I am happy to represent you, but this prize is for all of us. Like we all did that together. It started 10 years ago, like, you know, but each and every one of you guys have been part of this journey. You guys are creating change of your own, you know, like Chantal said, this is like a beast, you know, the girls, and it's so diverse, and like you guys transform, you guys make it, you know, and that's how it should be. You know, I'm happy to represent all this community and like to like celebrate this all with you guys, but this is for all of us. Okay, so thank you guys.
Congratulations once again.
Congratulations.
Where's your clapping, Shweta? You're clapping.
Yeah, the clapping sound.
Yes. I was just. So again, let's all re-say congratulations to it. Congratulations, Millie.
Congratulations.
So thank you guys. So let's stay tuned for our next episode in September end, and we see you and say bye till then. Okay? Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Seth.
Bye.
Take care,
Everybody,
everyone.
Thank you so
bye.
much, guys. Bye.
Bye.
I end with the clap.